Hello everyone, welcome to episode 25 of the Drone Wars. So here in front of us we can see the board with of course the 9 quadrants here, and taking a look at the factions that are left over. Well, we can see here that the Great Red Sun Empire in the corner is not doing particularly well, nor is the New Galactic Alliance. Right now the three major powers are the Pirate Empire, Delta Shipyards, and the Federation. And at the moment the Pirate Empire seems to be the most cohesive and the most powerful. The Federation is definitely up there in power, but they're very scattered. That gives them a bit of an advantage because it's harder to take them down from the other major powers' perspectives. So we're going to go through these little by little, and we're going to go ahead and see what happens here in this episode. Alright, so our first order of business takes place in this quadrant over here, and well, the New Galactic Alliance doesn't like that the Pirate Empire is kind of just pushing up through here and taking over more territory, so they're going to try to put a stop to that. So they sent a fleet from the shipyard here to go over to this planet, this mining world, and they're going to take out that frigate there. So we're going to go over to this planet and we're going to just look at that battle. Should be pretty short. Well, here we are. Over here you can see the Pirate Empire's single frigate that is going to be taking on the Alliance fleet over here, which consists of a cruiser, 2 corvettes, and 2 fighters. Not the biggest fleet, but it's something that'll fiercely defend this area. Pretty much immediately all these ships are going to move in. This frigate has definitely taken a hit from a torpedo. There's a lot of cannon fire coming in its direction. I think the AI on this ship is hit already. Still gonna try fighting with whatever it has left. It seems like that frigate's basically down already, and taking a look at what ships are left, we still have 2 fighters, we have our corvettes and the cruiser still flying, and that frigate is going down. So we're gonna go back to the board, update it, and then see what else the factions do. Alright, we're back at the board, and well, there's some interesting things here we're gonna talk about. So, well, The Alliance did win that victory against the Powered Empire, basically reconnecting their empire here. So now it's all one continuous piece here. Then what they decided to do, they wanted to take advantage of the Great Britain Empire's dilemma over here, and they decided to basically send their fleet that was here up and basically just eliminated their fleet of just one fighter over here. It wasn't really worth recording, it was just an instant kill. But basically they have successfully claimed that planet. Pretty simple. And then the last action that the Alliance is going to do is that, well, over here they've decided to send their fleet from the Earth-like snowfields up here to the Titan Dunes to take on this very powerful fleet, yet again. They're trying to do whatever they can to stop this fleet. But it seems like no matter how hard they try, they just really can't do anything against it, but we'll go ahead and entertain them and see how this battle turns out. Maybe, just maybe, they might be lucky, maybe they might be able to take out one ship, but I don't know. Well, here we are on Titan. Right here we can see the Alliance fleet. It's just some corvettes and two fighters. Not too powerful here. All the way over here we have the Federation fleet, which at this point is pretty much undefeated. The Federation has a major advantage in this battle, but who knows? Maybe, just maybe, they might have some bad luck, but we'll find out. Almost immediately all these ships are moving in. Some torpedoes flying out as these corvettes are moving in. And of course these fighters are also moving in. All these fighters are just digging into this corvette here. This corvette seems to be just going in a straight line, trying to ram through as many as they can. It's doing so pretty successfully. And those fighters working together are lethal. I can hardly even tell if there's anything left. We just teleport ourselves up here, we can see the signals. It appears that the entirety of the Alliance has just been completely eliminated. There's pretty much nothing left. Looking at the ships that are left, it seems like there were not many casualties, if any at all. I mean, the fighters and carriers do restock, so yeah, pretty much there has been no permanent casualties on this fleet. So we're going to go ahead and mark that on the board. Alright, we return to the board, and well, the Alliance has already used all their actions, and now it's time for the Federation to present their actions. So the Federation, what they've decided to do is they've decided to upgrade one of their shipyards up here. So now that's level 2, that allows them to build fleets of up to 10 ships from that shipyard, which is great because they don't have any level 2 shipyards left, so they finally have one again. And well, their second action, they were really interested in taking out this world, but you know, the Alliance already did that, but they're not going to let go of that easily, so they're going to send one of their own fleets here to try and take out this, or take out the fleet here. So as you can see here, it's going to be an interesting fight. We got cruisers, we got corvettes, we got frigates. It's going to be an interesting battle on the ice flats there. But yeah, the winner basically will take Triton here. And of course that will allow them to move in and take that shipyard if they really wanted to, but who knows. Well, here we are on Triton, in the big area of ice, and well, we have our two fleets that are going to be battling each other here. So of course we have our aero frigates here, we have the corvette, we have our cruiser, and the fighter. This is the entire Federation fleet, and they're going to be going up against the Alliance over here, which has their own fleet. As you can see here, they have a variety of corvettes here, and their cruiser, and a single fighter. The odds here are pretty similar. It's going to be hard to tell who's going to win, but I think the Federation does have some slightly higher classes of ship that are a little more powerful. So we just need to see what happens here. Seems like these ships aren't really moving right now, but I guess they will move soon. You can see here all of these ships are now starting to move in, doing what they can. So a lot of long-range weapons going over. These corvettes might struggle a little bit if they don't have support soon. There are torpedoes being fired and hitting. It seems that now the cruiser is moving in. Seems like this frigate is going down very quickly. Now, of course, it managed to just barely survive that. There's a lot of shots in all directions going on here. Seems like the corvettes over there have crashed to the ground, which isn't great. This cruiser is going to do everything it can. Very surprising, this cruiser is really resilient. This other cruiser is pretty much just tearing it apart, but he's still standing. It's just trying to do as much damage as it can here. I think it might be going down now. Yep, it's definitely going down. Just like that, that cruiser has been completely eliminated. Looking at the ships that remain, well, we have the frigate still alive, we have the corvette over there still alive, and the cruiser still alive. We did lose the fighter though, so it wasn't without a loss. But yeah, the Federation has successfully taken this planet. Alright, we're back to the board after that battle. So of course the Federation has now taken that planet, giving them a little more control over this area. You can see their empire is a lot more fluid here. So then, I believe that was our second action. So our last action that they've actually taken was to go ahead and move their fleet that was previously here on the Alien Mountains. And they've moved it over to the Caldera Hills. And they completely slaughtered a fleet of fighters there. It wasn't really worth showing too much because that was just an instant victory. But yeah, the Federation now has control over Caldera Hills here, and they've turned that into a shipyard, or not shipyard, a fortress world there. So unfortunately, Delta Shipyards here, they're not doing particularly well as they've lost yet another fleet. They're losing more territory, and that was actually one of their main mining worlds, so their income has dropped even more. Right now, they're barely making anything. So now that it's Delta Shipyard's turn, they're deciding they want to retaliate, but they don't want to go against these fleets that are already here. They're going to try to expand in a different direction to kind of just throw off the Federation and kind of just resume their claim to this territory over here. So they definitely want to take out that shipyard. So they're taking their fleet here from this fortress world, and they've moved it over to the Reach Ocean here. Unfortunately, there is another fleet here owned by the Federation, so it's going to be the Federation versus Delta Shipyards here. I mean, it's kind of ironic that these two fleets were kind of just working together to take out this fleet, and now they're fighting over the right to fight and claim all this land. So we're gonna see how that goes. That's all the way down the ocean. Another reason why they're probably going after this is because of the fact it is a shipyard. But enough chatting. Let's go into battle. Well, here we are on the ocean. This is going to be a particularly interesting battle because of course there's water, and that means the ships can float instead of crashing down to the ground. It also means they can sink. So over here we can see the Federation fleet. They've got quite a few fighters here because of that carrier. Of course there's the carrier being escorted by a frigate and just a bunch of fighter support. On the other side we have the Delta Shipyards fleet here. And their fleet consists of just two ships that are mainly missile based, so this is going to be pretty interesting seeing how these ships react. I'm just going to just drop myself in the water here. Let's go ahead and just begin the battle here. And we'll see if this battleship and cruiser is enough to take on an entire carrier. Pretty much immediately there are missiles going back and forth. A lot of hits here. It's still doing fine. See, fighters are already moving in over there, doing as much damage as they can. Those fighters are going to be lethal to that battleship. And the carrier just starts zooming past all this. That carrier is charging at full speed. That main gun can turn out to be incredibly lethal if it's not careful. You can see this battleship is already suffering at the hands of all those fighters. There's already a lot of damage being done over here. But it seems like a lot of the attention is shifting straight towards the carrier and battleship here as they are moving in close to each other. That carrier really needs to deal, well, the battleship has to deal with all these fighters. The carrier is just there providing support, taking out as many missiles as possible. All these fighters are just moving in, tearing them apart. He's rapidly losing weapons at this rate. A lot of damage being done over here. This cruiser better finish up with this battle over here if he wants to help out. It appears that this frigate is slowly going down. I actually don't know where the other cruiser is currently. It's probably around here somewhere. Seems like this battleship is already starting to go down. It's taking a lot of damage. These fighters are still just shredding it. Wrong button. It appears that over here the cruiser is falling into the water and is now basically sunk. All over here this battleship is still operational, but is slowly starting to sink. Or fall towards the falling towards the ocean at this rate. Still capable of floating though, so it's using that to its advantage. That's not great. Alright. Seems like this battleship is actually starting to sink now that a lot of hydrogen tanks have gone out. Slowly going underwater here. And maybe, just maybe, it might be able to lift itself up a little bit, but it looks like it's going down for sure. Oh, it's actually still barely managing to keep afloat here. Just barely. At this point it is practically a submarine. But yeah, it's still fighting with whatever it can. No, I'm pretty certain it's sinking now. It's now completely under the water. And going further. So yeah, there is no saving that ship anymore. Let's take a look at the ships that remain. It appears there is only a carrier and a fighter remaining. Yeah, those are the only forces that are actually left still standing, so there's some damage on both sides. We're going to go and update the board now. Alright, so with the conclusion of that battle, the Federation has managed to keep their planet here. Of course, they have been severely weakened as they lost their frigate and some extra fighters. So it's just a carrier and one bonus fighter left in that fleet. And Delta Shipyards in their second turn, they're going to try to be a little bit smarter. They realize that the Federation is probably not a priority target right now because of the fact that, you know, they are very powerful and are not going to be able to do much against them. Instead of throwing their stronger fleets that they cannot afford to remake at the Federation, they're going to throw them at the Great Red Sun Empire over here to try to get a little bit more income so that way they can build up their fleets again, or hopefully find a way to escape from everything going on down here. So from here, they've decided to move their fleet from their shipyard here, so they're leaving their shipyard, and they're moving up to the alien desert over here, which is also a fortress world. So they're taking on a fleet and a fortress world with their own fleet. So we're going to see how this battle goes, and if it's successful, then Delta Shipyards will actually be able to claim another planet. Well, here we are in the alien desert, and we have two fleets that are preparing for battle. Over here, we have the Great Red Sun Empire's fleet, one of their last remaining fleets, actually. So over here they have their Sparrow Corvette and 4 fighters, and they're going to be facing off against this other fleet over here by Delta Shipyards. They have their cruiser, 3 corvettes, and a fighter. So we're going to go ahead and begin this battle here, and I don't know about you guys, but I think Delta Shipyards might win this fight, but there's always the off chance that the Great Red Sun Empire might win, but who knows. So already we have some ships moving in. I believe fighters are the first ships to actually close in. So you can see some cannon shots going up after a fighter. You can see the Corvette is moving in, and there should be fighters over here. I think I saw one of them here. Yep, here it is. This lone fighter. And well, that's the end of that fighter. Over here we can see his Corvette's now moving in. And I believe down here, the other fighters are trying to take on that cruiser and the other Corvette that's supporting it, but they're not doing particularly well. This cruiser is heavily specialized in close range combat, so they've made a major mistake trying to get in close here. As you can see, it's still going after all these fighters over here. In the meantime, this corvette is going around fighting. It's taking quite a bit of damage, though. Yeah, that ship is definitely going down. Just like that, that's the end of the Great Red Sun Empire's corvette there. There's still a fighter off in the distance over here that's trying to fight. You can see some corvettes over there crashing in the distance. Bit too close here, and as a result he's taking a lot of damage. And then again, he kind of has to get close to use his weapons. That's a lot of damage. This fighter is rapidly. Oh wait, I was gonna say he was rapidly running out of thrusters, but I think this fighter lost a little bit more than a thruster. At this point, it's just half a fighter, still trying to hold on to whatever it can. There's still even a seat in there, but I don't think it's gonna stay afloat any longer. It is definitely going down. That fighter is basically toast at this point. So we're going to go back to the board and update this. Well, not quite yet. We still have to count whatever ships are remaining in the red Delta Shipyards fleet here, and then we have to take on the fortress that is here on this planet. Well, we're returning for part 2 of the battle here, in which these are the 2 ships that survived in the Delta Shipyards fleet. And over here is the fortress they have to take out if they want to actually claim this world. So we're going to go ahead and begin the battle here, and we're going to see how this goes for Delta Shipyards. So almost immediately that Corvette is going forward, pretty much going to absorb all the hits. And then I guess that cruiser is going to sit in the back and try to dish out all the damage once it gets close enough. This is very dangerous for these ships, so they just have to hope they don't get hit. So already some shots coming in. Lots of hits already starting to come in. The entire front of the Corvette is now completely gone. In the meantime, the cruiser shouldn't be that far behind. Oh, it's actually quite far behind. Okay, this Corvette probably is not going to last very long if that's the case. It's definitely trying to do whatever it can. And now all these weapons are going to fix on the cruiser back here, which took a direct hit. That's definitely not good, for a variety of reasons. This cruiser needs to get its head back into the game, unless its AI block was taken out or something. As far as I can tell, I don't think any AI blocks are damaged. It's definitely not in a great spot here. That was a major hit. Let me try repasting the grid and see if that fixes his AI. Nope, I guess it's just sitting here. Must have been some lucky shot that hit its AI blocks or something. No, they're active. It's just designed to sit there. Yeah, at this rate I think the Fortress wins the battle here, as that ship is no longer responding. Yeah, it's not responding at all, so I guess that's it for this battle. Delta Shipyards has defeated the fleet. Unfortunately, they have failed to claim the planet. Alright, so Delta Shipyards completely fails to take this planet, but they did succeed in destroying that fleet at the cost of their own fleet. So, good and bad news. I mean, the Great Red Sun Empire is still standing, they still have their planet, so they're good for now. Now, as for their final action, they've decided they're going to take their fleet that was at this shipyard and they're going to move it over here to try to take on this fortress world. If they could take on that fortress world, then they can reconnect. Well, here we are. Delta Shipyards versus that fortress. If they can successfully take that fortress, then the planet is theirs. So we're going to go and declare war here. There we go. And we're going to let all these ships move in at their own pace. There's just 2 fighters back here. They're just going to sit there for now, but they'll eventually see the target and move in. Either that, or they place them a little bit further away. There we go. So of course, this fortress being on a higher elevation means it can only shoot so low, but it's going to do whatever it can. So you have all these corvettes moving in. Seems like there's been some collisions over here, and small hits. These fighters are moving in, trying to do as much damage as they can. At this point, all these point defenses are going haywire, trying to defend. Thing is, these corvettes need to be really careful, otherwise they're going to... yeah. Seems some of them have survived their collisions over there. They're going to move in. And over here, we can see these fighters doing everything they can. The heavy gravity on this planet doesn't really help either. Out here we can see there are still some fighters. They've taken some damage, but they're still trying. Well, that corvette disintegrated over there. I think that was the last fighter. And since none of these corvettes are still flight capable, then that means that is the end of that. The Federation has held on, and Delta Shipyards has lost yet another fleet. Okay, so after Delta Shipyards, we move on to the Pirates. And well, Delta Shipyards actually doesn't have any fleets right now, which is not good for them at all. The Pirate Empire took advantage of that. They've actually moved their super carrier fleet over to take over that shipyard right next to their homeworld. Then they've moved their other fleet from the alien planet all the way up to that planet over there. And of course, they're probably going to move in over here, just take over all this and slowly move up. They just want to take over the entire bottom of the map here. They decided to use their final action to build up one of the most powerful fleets in the entire board here. So they pretty much used all of their money to make this massive fleet of 10 ships here. 3 battleships with fighter carrier capability, a bunch of frigates, and some fighters. It may not seem like much, but that 3 battleships is a lot in one fleet. It's incredibly powerful. So that's the Pirate Empire done. Now we're moving on to the Great Red Sun Empire. And the Great Red Sun Empire has some stuff. As you can see, they only have like 5 planets left, and they're really struggling to figure out a way to survive. So their chances of taking on the Federation are very slim, if at all. And of course, taking on the Delta Shipyards down here is not great either. So they're just weighing their options, and going down here is a death sentence pretty much because of all the fleets down here and how easily they're going to be able to build back up. So they've decided what they're going to do is they're going to be sending their fleet that was at their homeworld over to the alien lake here. And what they're hoping to do is to get this fighter fleet over here and kind of just go around the Federation, since there's no Federation forces there. Maybe that might give them a way to escape, maybe not, who knows. But that's pretty much one of their only hopes, hopefully, to try to escape from that. And over here, they've decided to build a new fleet on the Pertan Plateaus here. Their shipyard that's surrounded all three sides. And they've actually decided to make their first cruiser, pretty much using all of their funds to make a cruiser and a bunch of fighters to support it. And with that, they realized they're not going to win on this side because there's a carrier there. They're not going to win on this side because, there's a cruiser here and a group of frigates. They're just not going to win either of those fights. And even then, that world, I believe... Well, that's a shipyard. They're not going to win either of those fights. So they're going to try to avoid that altogether, and they're going to move their fleets down here to the Mars Valley to take on this fortress world. If they can break through this, then maybe they have a chance of escaping, because as you can see, there are no fleets around here. Except for that fleet, but, they have a chance of actually surviving this if they manage to go down here. It's risky, but if they can successfully do this, then they will escape from their prison over there. And hopefully they'll be able to survive the onslaught. And, then they'll have to deal with the Pirate Empire. Or, maybe the Alliance might do something, because the Alliance definitely is still after them. Well, here we are. As you can see, this is the Great Red Sun Empire's cruiser and their fighters, and they're going to try their best to take out this fortress that's just sitting right over there. We're going to go ahead and declare war, and we're going to see how well this goes. Almost immediately, that cruiser is trying to take the low ground there, or the low ground approach. And that pretty much saved it. Although I'm not sure what it's going to do on the ground here. It needs to go up, or else it's not going to see its target. Or it might just collide with the ground, which is not great for it either. Well, that's anticlimactic. It just basically just hugs the ground there. And the fort is still all the way over there, so... we gotta raise it up to a point where we can actually see. And then I'll go after the target. Here we go, now it's actually moving in. And of course you have all the fighters over there moving in. Those fighters are probably struggling a lot. You can see them all going after the fortress there, and now this cruiser is going to move in and do whatever damage it can do. Cruiser is definitely moving in close. Just going for a ram. That's one way to distract some turrets. It's still doing quite a bit of damage here. And all these turrets are focusing on the fighters above, while the cruiser is doing the majority of the damage here. There are very few turrets left. That cruiser is basically doing everything it can to take him out. There's another turret wiped out. Precise shots do a lot of damage, and they're trying to do everything they can to take him out. Or just take out those turrets. Because they take out those fortresses and they're pretty much good to go. There we go. More turrets disabled. There's just one more turret left. Two more turrets, actually. That's a very strong turret. Those railguns are definitely doing everything they can. That turret is just refusing to go down. It's rapidly doing whatever damage it can. Oh, well, that turret's completely down now. There's no more offensive weapons left on this fortress at all, so yeah, that's a victory for the Pirate Empire. If you look around here, we can see how many fighters are left. So you got 1, 2, 3 fighters still alive. So, 3 fighters and the cruiser. That is a very nice victory. Okay, let's take a look at everything here, looking at the grand scale of things. So, the New Galactic Alliance has successfully reunified its empire, and now their empire is a little more stable. Unfortunately, they are being pushed back a little bit from the top. Now, the Federation is also a little more stable now. Their empire is a lot more cohesive, and you can see it in 2 pieces, basically. There's that lower piece over there, and then there's the upper piece over here, just much larger. Delta Shipyards over there, their empire is still fractured, and right now they are in a lot of trouble. They don't have very much income, they have no more fleets. They need to rapidly build a fleet and find a way to expand as quickly as possible. The Pirate Empire, they're extremely powerful. I don't really know what else to say. They are slowly continuing to expand. They have a little pushback on the top. That's mostly because they don't have too many powerful fleets up there. But that has changed now, since they built a super powerful fleet up there. They have a few fleets trying to deal with the left, and I guess they're trying to take over the entire bottom of the board so they can slowly move up. Let's take a look at what everything else here is looking like. The Great Red Sun Empire. They are not doing great. They have 2 fleets left, but by some miracle they managed to break through that blockade again by building a cruiser. And they might be able to build up a presence in the middle of the map, but I think the top left corner of the map is pretty much doomed. So that's that. I guess that's about it for this episode. I hope you guys have actually enjoyed. We have a Discord for Season 2 in the, in the description. If you guys are interested in joining on that, feel free to join the Discord. Season 2 will be similar to Season 1, but of course the board will be a lot bigger, 125 planet locations, and you will be able to submit and use your own ships. There's actually fully reworked rules and systems in place, so that's something that'll be very interesting, well, if you guys want to participate. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next episode. Take care.